Most people have watched the televised images, the corpses and wounded children, but we see these images in different ways. The Serbs of Toronto, and there are many Serbs here, say what is most important is what we do not see, and that is the Serbian victim, the Serbian version of the Yugoslavian war. Jeffrey Kaufman's been looking into this. Jeffrey?
Well, Bill, for 2 years, everyone from the former Yugoslavia has been consumed by the conflict there. Every community is busy collecting clothes and relief supplies. But the Serbians are finding themselves in the position of having to defend atrocities, and they don't like what's being said about them. This is Good Friday in the Eastern Orthodox Church, the day Christ is said to have died for the sins of all people. People don't like the sins that they and their fellow Serbians are being accused of.
That's part of being a Christian, one carrying their cross, and sometimes even being unfairly judged, unfairly condemned.
These are the images attributed to Serbs in Bosnia. A boy blinded by a bomb, dozens of his friends killed, and tens of thousands of women raped, villages pillaged. Serbs in the former Yugoslavia have been characterized as evil aggressors, but most of the more than 100,000 Serbs in Canada are in a state of denial. While the Serbian church on this holy day is publicly pleading for peace, it is a faint plea.
I don't think there's any way to justify the suffering of anyone, especially when it's a question of atrocities. Be they Serbs, be they Croats, be they Muslims. Those are tragedies. But I think at the same time, I think that a lot of times what's happened, that in the media, the Croatians and the Muslims have been simply shown as the victims, and very, very little, if nothing, has been said about the Serbs who are the victims. Even the so-called 50,000 Muslim women that were supposedly raped by Serbian soldiers is, I think, an absolute atrocious lie. And if not an outright lie, it's certainly a gross exaggeration.
Nada Janic has just returned from a one-month tour of Serbia as a representative of the Canadian-Serbian Council. She, too, insists the West is not being told the whole story.
I was there, and I saw our suffering. I saw Serbian dead people. I saw Serbian children that had no arms, no legs. I saw old women in the street begging because they have no food. I saw soldiers that have been blinded. I've seen old men crying because they've lost their families. And I cannot ever feel ashamed of my people.
It is always the media or Western governments that are blamed for distorting what these people believe are the real truths. They refuse to accept the well-documented evidence.
I'm crying when you see kids, bleeding around there. Doesn't matter who's, Croatian or Serbians or Muslim kids. I'm crying, my heart is crying. And today on Good Friday, I wish that peace can come there. But we should start thinking, not just squeezing. Squeezing Serbia, squeezing Serbians in Bosnia, squeezing Montenegro. That's not the way how we should do it.
So do you see the Serbians as victims in this?
Yes.
It's really a case of finger-pointing. The world, Muslims and Croatians pointing at Serbians as the aggressors in what's happening in the former Yugoslavia. But Serbians saying, no, no, don't look at us. We're just trying to defend our land. It's the Muslims and the Croatians who are at fault. Bill, it really leaves prospects for peace very discouraging.
Jeffrey, most of the reporters who have been to all sides of this war in Yugoslavia say that all sides have committed crimes, but the preponderance of the crimes have been committed by Serbian forces. What do the Toronto Serbs say to that?
Well, the Toronto Serbs say that they have conspiracy theories. They suggest that the media is being manipulated, that Croatians and Muslims are spending a lot of money to manipulate journalists. When you push it further, really they don't have an answer. It's simply denial. They can't accept, they can't believe that these things are going on. And their argument is that history is going to show that they were right, and they simply will not accept responsibility. They are proud of what their fellow Serbs are doing.
Jeffrey, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.